Hi, this is Editor Sudi. This is actually a two-part video. I recorded a reaction to top 3 before this, but because this Mizi Sua reaction ended up being so damn long, and the video was like 36, 37 minutes, I cut them into 2 separate videos. So the top 3 reaction will be out after this Mizi Sua one. That's all. Enjoy to Mizi Sua! Hold on, because that's kind of creepy. I mean, the thumbnail's kind of creepy, but that was kind of a creepy start. Ooh, the piano piece. Damn, then it just grabbed her head and just threw her off. What is this? Hella atmospheric. Like the synths. The like stereo pianos are really cool too. What are they crying about? Is this a dream sequence or is this when they actually first met? Dude, Sua is dead as inside. Like, she's gone. Wow, that's pretty. That's a pretty shot. Wow, bro, that shot is crazy. That shot is crazy. And how, oh, okay, so is this like indicative of like Mizi's like light seeping into Sua's kind of life? Is that the idea of like the tentacles going past the barrier? It's kind of interesting. Her trying to seep into her life. Oh, I guess that's, oh yeah, those are like, that is weird. I guess like these are 2 different, yeah, they're both, this is maybe when they're both in their pet stage, like very early pet stage, and so Sua's kind of being dressed up like a doll and whatever the fuck. Mizi's in a different situation, obviously. She's waving goodbye to her. Aw. Is this at the point when they both left Anact Garden? It's weird trying to piece together the timeline here. Because I have no idea what the context on this is. This is hella atmospheric and kind of creepy. Oh, she's having a dream. Okay, that makes so much fucking sense now. Okay, damn. Okay, but this is interesting. Hold on. Oh, I'm not supposed to pause. I'm not supposed to pause. We don't pause on first watch, Sudi. Jesus Christ. Okay. That was interesting. There's a lot to analyze here. There's a lot to figure out, okay? First off is whether or not what Mizi was seeing was a dream of something that previously happened, or if it's just like a reflection of the guilt of basically getting her best friend killed, if that's what happened. I kind of wonder. The waving goodbye could be like indicative of the fact that like she's actually dying and she's dead and she's just going away forever. Right, there's a couple of ways to interpret this. One thing that I wanted to stop and pause at was here, right? So this is presumably after Mizi kind of freaked out or whatever the fuck against Luca and damn near killed him. Doesn't look like she's in a prison per se. I see the fence here, but this is not what a prison necessarily looks like. I don't know what this red dot is indicative of, though. Part of me started to think that maybe there was like a camera or something back here, but maybe this actually is kind of more like a prison cell or something like that. It's possible. It's absolutely possible that's more of like a prison cell, and so she was arrested, and that's kind of where she is. If so, that's interesting, because the Earth thing back here in the background would seem to suggest against that. I guess, like, well, maybe that doesn't suggest against it, right? My thought process in saying the Earth poster is a suggestion against this being a prison is because I was like, if people are able to decorate the space, then it probably is not a prison, right? But the counter argument to that is that if people are decorating the space and the space is being decorated with pro-Earth stuff, it probably is indicative of the fact that these people might have been rebelling because they want to go back to their planet, or that this maybe is a prison cell, and for whatever reason, posters and things have ended up in the prison cell, right? Like, I guess in theory that's possible. Hard to interpret it just based off of this one shot. Could be that this is like a net, maybe like climbing up to like a bunk bed or something like that. But again, it's kind of hard to figure out. It could also just be that this is where Mizi's chambers are for the alien stage, and so that would explain maybe like what this red button is. Maybe this is like an intercom back here so that she can like speak to people in and outside of like the room or whatever the fuck. But yeah, kind of hard to interpret this. Also, this outfit is so fucking fire, and she's hot. I'm not saying the crying woman is hot. I'm saying the crying woman is hot when she's not crying. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry. I got good taste. Okay. Now for analyzing the rest of this, first off, I guess I didn't realize. Oh no, that's not a costume change. Yeah. So this is like an alien grabbing her by the head. and snatching her and taking her away. Is what this looks like. Oh, yeah. Okay, that is exactly what happened. So these two are being auctioned off as pets is what's happening right now. And I guess that this portion back here is kind of where they go when they're about to actually be sent off to their new owner. Maybe that's what's happening. So in other words, you see that they're both in the foreground right now. What I'm saying is that they're basically going to move towards that space that's in the background there. And that's where they get auctioned, or they not auctioned off, but that's where they get released to their new alien owner. The question that I have then is, when is this happening in the context of these two meeting? By proxy of the fact that they have been like talking to each other and that like they said goodbye to each other, this seems to suggest that maybe this is taking place after they had already been friends and met in Anact Garden, right? So I'm going to now assume that this is happening after they've already met in the garden and basically post the events of Ivan's flashback with Till and whatever the fuck. That's basically what I'm saying, right? So it looks like Mizi is the one that gets like very loving parents and they're gonna kind of be like shipped over to her. I can't tell if this alien is actually inside of the thing with Mizi or outside. It's kind of where it looks like it's inside, but it looks like, yeah, Mizi's going to kind of go to a nice, more curing mating, or mate. Oh no, wait a minute. This alien's got like a tissue in hand, doesn't she? So she's like crying, almost, right? So are they saying goodbye? Oh, yeah, this is weird. Now this is hard to piece together. So initially what I thought this was that, like, she was going to go towards this alien. But if the alien has, like, a tissue in hand, maybe she's crying because Mizi's actually going away. It looks like on the right we have the politicians on, like, Sua-cide, right? Sua-cide. I am so sorry. It wasn't until like, I heard it come out of my mouth that I was like, bro, what did I just say? My bad, bro. Alright, I mean, she did die, so it's not that crazy of a term, right? It's Sua's side, you know what I'm saying? Whatever. Anyway. This kind of looks like one of the politicians from earlier. These are like nastier looking aliens as well, so my assumption was that initially she was going to be going towards like a shittier kind of household for like being a pet. But if she's crying, maybe both of these girls are going away. And they're going somewhere, but it's hard to figure out where they're actually being transported to. So midway through transporting, they look like they're sad, so they can't really talk to each other right now, but she's trying to talk to her. So I guess, yeah, this alien is the one that's actually setting... Oh, maybe putting the alien in there was maybe like a send-off gift then. It was initially a toy and maybe they packed something in it, is what happened with in Mizi's case. And it was to keep her comfort on the way out. What's interesting here is that, like I said, Mizi's in the same attire, whereas Sua is in like this doll dress-up attire, which is suggesting that she kind of was already coming from an owner. So this, like I said, that makes the timeline kind of hard to like parse and gauge here. Hard to figure out what all this stuff in the background is. I know that I saw the alien kind of sitting in with Mizi, but I don't know. I'd assume it's the one that's kind of having all like these particles and like tentacles kind of go all over the place, but I don't know why that's the case. This is an interesting shot too, because you would expect when Sua is looking towards the reflection for her to see Mizi kind of like out the other side and not to see her own reflection. Like what I'm trying to say is if she's looking through the glass, you would expect to see Mizi, not Sua's own reflection, because Mizi can see Sua. So I wonder if this is just one of those weird aspects of the dream, or again, if this is like a recollection of something that previously happened. Mizi's looking over at Sua and she sees her, but it seems like Sua basically is actually just looking towards a fucking brick wall because she just damn near doesn't even see Mizi at this point. She only sees her own reflection. And it's like Mizi's trying to reach her and she reaches over into her side. It's interesting because the beams become lighter once they go through whatever this barrier is. I think that's kind of interesting. Is there anything interesting about the reflection on the floor going on here? Not in particular. It's just kind of... It is just a reflection. I don't see anything else going on there. So what is this? These are like maybe the hooks that were currently, or that previously were like transporting them. Is that kind of what that is? Like, if we go back towards, where, god damn it, here. Are these, like, the hooks that were transporting them? Or are they basically, like, letting off and then, like, letting them go? It's kind of hard to figure out what that is. Maybe it's possible. Let's see. They're all, like, connected to each other now. Oh, no. And then something opens, like a door that opens. It's like a latch that opens, and then they start drawing away. Yeah, they start getting pulled away from each other. Trying to stay in contact. They're moving past each other. And they're going in opposite directions is what that looks like. Okay. They're sad that they're losing each other, which again suggests that this is after the Anact Garden stuff, when they've already met. Sua was in Anact Garden, wasn't she? I'm not tripping, am I? I don't think I am. Now they're going away. The other, I guess, interpretation of all of this is that if there's the chance that all of this actually is a dream, right? Like, obviously, it suggests that it's a dream because she wakes up. But what I mean is that there's a chance that all of this is fabricated, and that maybe all of this is symbolic, right? So, in other words, like, Sua is being grabbed by, like, the head, or by the head by whatever alien that is, and that what we're actually seeing here is, like, both of these two are kind of being sent off to the alien stage, and it's just that the Mizi's kind of been given, like, all of these flowers and, like, these gifts and things to, like, help her and aid her throughout the journey, and Sua's kind of, like, dead inside and just wasn't meant for the journey, and so she just, this is, like, more of, like, a symbolic representation than an actual recollection, right? And what's essentially attempting to be conveyed here, I guess, is that Mizi's guilt towards basically getting Sua killed. It could be that all of this is symbolic. I do actually think that this is an occurrence of an event that happened, and it just hits harder right now for Mizi because Sua dies, right? And technically, I guess it's because of her, but it's not really because of her. It's not really like she killed Sua. It just is the nature of the competition. I'm curious to see what you guys think. I'm also curious to see what the comments are. So this person is saying how they were kept before going to Enact. And that is possible. I think that actually would make a little bit more sense. But the one thing that doesn't make sense about this, right, is that if they were kept like this before going to hold on. Now we got to do something, okay? Now we have to go back and look at VIVINOS Stage 1. There's a lot of theory crafting happening in this video. Because what we have to figure out now is when this is happening in the portion of the timeline. My understanding was that this was all happening in an act. Also, you all are finally getting what you were asking for. Everybody's been asking me where's the round 1, round 2 reactions. I wasn't reacting to VIVINOS back then because I just didn't know it even existed. I didn't even know until like a little before Stage 3 came out. So I watched Stage 1 and Stage 2 without a reaction. So yeah. Hold on, for everybody's sakes, let's change our subtitles to English subtitles. I'm learning Japanese. I've been learning Japanese for about 4 to 5 years now, which is why a lot of my subtitles are in Japanese. The reason why we're back here is because we want to figure out where in the timeline this actually sits. Somebody was saying in the comments that this is before Anact Garden, but it's hard to see how that's the case. Also, I've always adored this song. I've always thought that this was basically the best song in all of like Alien Stage, but it's more of like one of the best songs in because it's like it's very similar to I can't remember what the hell the name of the composer is. Wow, I can't believe I forgot his name. Near Automata composer. I cannot remember his name. This is a lot along the lines of what he does. Kind of reminds me of some songs from like Drakengard. This is definitely all happening in Anact Garden, right? Find you with your son. Happening in the garden. I guess they had a view of the outside. Do they show the separation in this video? I don't remember them showing the separation in Stage 1. This is scoreboard, right? Is what that is? Yeah, I was about to say, yeah. There we go. And this is when they realized the shit about that this is a competition, that they're being pitted against each other. Buffer? Also, the musical stuff happening in the background, the way that the voices are kind of being sung, and that like that weird, there's like a light chorus effect that's on top of them as well. That's kind of what I thought was a little more indicative of like some like Nier Automata like inspiration. I also want to make music like this at some fucking point. I'd like to incorporate some of this stuff within my own music. But, yeah. Yeah, so they're singing here. Man, I forgot how close this actually was. They were 1 point off from each other. I really did forget how close they were in regards to this. And I remember the first time I watched this, I thought that it was actually so atmospheric. Wow, that piccolo in the background? Yeah. Damn. It's like watching this again for the first time. You know what I'm saying? Given new context. Please stay by my side. Yeah, that's not the first time she's gonna be bloodied in this series. It's not the first time she's gonna have somebody else's blood on her hands in this series, yeah. And that's the collar, I guess, to keep them in place. So that actually makes me think about something. The fact that they collared her after the performance was over seems to suggest that, like, the singing is actually an ability of theirs, and like there's potentially, it's potentially problematic if they don't have the collars on, because like maybe they have like some powers that can't be tamed. Typically, if you're doing something like this, it's because you want there to be some punishment if like the person tries to run off, or if they're trying to be, if they have like some powers or something like that. So I guess it's possible that maybe like the fear was that like Mizi and them would run off, and they couldn't track them, and so the collar just is a tracking device, and they don't have them wear it when they go on stage. Although, why wouldn't you have them wear it when they go on stage? Is kind of strange. It doesn't make any sense to necessarily force them to take it off unless you think it's going to be a restraint to their singing, right? But maybe that's the basic idea. Anywho, the reason why we came back here was solely just to figure out whether or not all of this stuff was happening before the time, before or after in the timeline. I think the answer seems to be the stuff that's happening in MIZISUA is actually before they do get to Anact Garden. It's just weird because Mizi's crying as she's going off. So I wonder if this is supposed to, maybe part of this is up until they're going to Anact Garden, and this portion where they're like going, when they're splitting apart, is not actually a real event. So maybe part of this is real and part of this is fake, i.e. like this portion where they're kind of like going off and like splitting away from each other. Maybe Sua's actually splitting away in the sense that like she's dying here, and this is just Mizi's guilt tripping in, whereas everything else is actually part of the story where they actually were being sent off and they were being transported, and she tried to talk to her on the way back, but ultimately she couldn't reach her, is symbolically what's going on here, and so they separate, and then like Sua's dead. That, I think that is maybe more along the lines of my interpretation. So yeah, I think I'm gonna stick on that interpretation. Tell me if I'm wrong with it, but basically what I've come to the conclusion of is about 50 to 75% of what we see in MIZISUA here is something that actually occurred. And I think what doesn't actually occur here is basically this portion where they're separating off, and it would suggest that Sua is going off somewhere else, because these two meet in Anact Garden, was my understanding. They were best friends in Anact Garden, so it doesn't make sense that they would separate off and Sua basically just goes into the void or whatever the fuck, right? I think that basically this point onwards where Sua just disappears is maybe just actually dream and like guilt on Mizi's part, but I could be wrong. So I know that there are like comics and there's like lore for this stuff, so if any of you guys know, leave it in the comments below. But this is now a 36-minute video because I also went back and reacted to portions of Alien Stage 1. So I don't know how the hell I'm gonna edit and upload this. I gotta figure that out. Anywho, thank you guys for watching. If you guys did enjoy, please leave a like and a comment, and as always, I will see you guys in the next video. I'm waiting for the next round video, but again, these basically come out in 3-month increments, so the next time we're probably gonna get a video is close to end of November or December, so that's like a Christmas gift. So all right, see you guys later. Deuce.